All right, good morning all. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts with old Johnny here. We got a little bit of a dark look to the camera this morning. What's going on there? How about we get some brightness on that? There we go. Hey, yeah, welcome. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute because I was gone for a few days. We had a regular set of shows last week. We did 3 days. Then I flew to Atlantic City. And I played with Jeff and the Mac crew and some other subscribers, and we had just a grand old time over there. I won the contest. I won Mac's Play With Us contest, and he basically flew me out there and let me play for a little bit. So, yeah, I want to recap that a little bit today. There's lots of stuff to talk about, and again, we can regale the stories all we want. I know that Jeff is going to do a more complete recap. He's got pictures and slideshows and the whole thing. I just want to talk a little bit today and sort of recap kind of how it all went and what we did. But before we do that, let's do our regular deal here. Let's go through the daily paycheck. I want to do a quick review of what happened this morning, and we can even talk about why it played that way. So let's go look at the daily paycheck screen real quick. And so far so good. It says the skill switch, which is dumb. Let me go fix that. Hold on a second. I'm gonna you know me, I'm a perfectionist, right? This is actually the Dolly Ladderson, I'm calling it. There we go, Dolly Ladderson. Let's go ahead and save that. We'll put that back up here. Make it look nice and pretty. Let's move this over here and that. Okay, there we go. Now, like I'm a professional or something, right? The Dolly Ladderson. So we're 1-0. We won 675 today, about 13% or so, about 20 rolls it took or so. Now, this is a strategy that I chose to play today because it checks a bunch of boxes for me, right? It's low volatility, it's stable, it fights back pretty well, and it's easy to play. Like we've been doing some stuff like the Dallas Drawdown, a couple other ones that are way higher in volatility. It takes more money to get out there. You need perfect runs to get things to happen. And some of them, like the Moonbow and whatever else, there's a lot of moving parts to it. And it's just like, for paycheck play, what you want is stable, simple, black chip level betting to get it done. You want to get it done quick, hopefully quick, right? This one here today was quick. It was about 20 rolls. Ideally, that's about the most. 2 or 3 shooters and you're done and out of there. If you're there at 4 o'clock in the morning by yourself, it's just you can throw your 7s and be done, right? That's perfectly cool, like what I'm looking for in a paycheck. This one here kind of checks all those boxes. Now, it's not gonna hit me any kind of home runs. There's a 0% chance that this thing wins more than $600-700 in a day. Only if you have your last bets out there and it puts you over the top. Like today, our last bets won us an extra whatever. That's the only way this strategy works. It's not going to be the big moneymaker, but it's going to be kind of a consistent one. And that's what you want for a daily paycheck strategy. And it gets me thinking about how the weekend went. And I chose this strategy because it's so simple to play. And I'm throwing so poorly right now. You saw today, right? I think I had 3 shooters. One of them went 5 or 6 rolls. That's been my average. The last all week in AC. Last week here at the house, I've lost my throw. Now, you can say that I'm random. I've always been random, and I'm just succumbing to randomness. Not that I was getting 20s before, but I was seeing my 1s pop. I was seeing consistent flight. I was seeing consistent landings. It's been off. I've been off kilter for about 2-3 weeks now. Nothing seems right with it, and my results have been showing that. So I'm switching to this because I know this is going to play into what I'm doing while I'm trying to figure things out, if there's anything to figure out. So anyway, that's kind of that. I hope that explains why I went to the dark side today. And really, again, what I saw in myself doing an AC, there's something wrong with what I'm doing. I'm not getting my spin. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is a paycheck play, and it's a good one. I think it's a good paycheck play. So that's why I switched to this. And again, I'm going to do the Vitamix next week, which is also super dark. And it's way more volatility, but it is a home run hitter. It's a dark side home run hitter, the Vitamix. We're going to play that one next week. So, hey, everybody, I'm seeing all the hellos. Good morning to Midmo Yo and Old Bay, and Nemo's back again. Waylon's here. Hey, Waylon, how you doing, man? And Jen's here, of course. Ian's here. Everybody's looking in. There's Dice D-Gen is here. Scott Schaefer is here. Love it. Love getting the coffee clutch. Old number 7 is here. You're gonna love my week, man. We're gonna go dark. We're going dark every morning. Bob, going out there in the garage with me and play some darkness. All right, let's do it. Victor is here. Victor, who I got to meet, by the way, everybody should know. Let's go back over here. Victor is a live person. Victor is not ChatGPT chatting to you. Victor is not an AI. Victor's a real dude. Real dude. I shook his hand. Gave him a little bro hug on the boardwalk there. It was good to meet Victor in person. We were kind of crossing paths. I was walking down from Caesars to the Trop, and he was going from the Trop, or I think the Trop, back up to resorts or the ocean. So we were kind of passed by. He's like, hey, is that John? And he turned around and we, met up for a second there. Cool. It was cool to see him in person. It was great. Yeah, missed the bro hugs, right? Fuck COVID. Missing the bro hugs. There it is. So that was cool. So Victor's a real guy, among other things. Victor's a good dude. So anyway, what else happened over there in AC? Let's do the come out roll. Let's actually jump in here and talk about some of the other stuff that we have going on. Let's see, get here. And not a lot going on in our world. I haven't had time to really catch back up again, but Friday night fights this week, we're gonna be back live. We've got Crap and Camper, the champ versus Crap C, the challenger. I will start working on them now. Make sure that Friday's gonna be a thing. I dropped the ball a little bit the week before last and waited till too late to talk to folks. We'll get it right this time. Craps Chat is gonna be this Sunday. Jeff and Dylan are back at it. We're gonna be, and my favorite show, my favorite shows of the month is Craps Chat. So that'll be fun. And since a few of us were in AC together, you may get a little bit of round table on that, which is kind of cool. It's fun. Always looking forward to that one. But really, let's talk about the meetup. Let's talk about the meetup and all the things that happened. I want to give you kind of a general lay of the land. So for me personally, I'll give you my story. I flew out of here Thursday morning. So I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, my time, and went down to the airport. And you have these feelings. Sometimes like life just tells you what's going to happen. Get all the way down there. And the Seattle airport is notoriously bad at security. We have one giant security bundle for the whole thing, which really sucks. There's two, but one of them is never open. So you want to get there as early as you can. So I got up at 4, drove down there. I get to the parking lot that I normally park my car at and take the little shuttle over. Well, the lot's closed. For whatever reason, the lot's closed and they don't take reservations. So you show up and so I'm like, now what am I going to do? Right? I got like literally an hour and 20 minutes to get to the gate. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to go inside the airport, I guess, and park in the airport parking lot, which my parking that I normally go to is $13 a day. Inside the airport, it's $60 a day. But got no choice. Obviously, I go to the airport. I park in the airport lot, and I'm singing the song, right? Level two, row C, whatever, right? So I knew where I was parking, right? I'm kind of sing-songing it in my head so I don't forget. Off we go to the airplane, right? Great flight, simple flight, get to AC, nice and on time. I get my rental car, which is great, and pop myself down to Atlantic City, and we did the thing. Now I get down there, and I'm kind of tired. I'm a little beat, but it was cool. I walked up, and I got to meet the whole gang. Jeff was there, and I got to meet Wawa, and of course DJen was there, and Louie, and everybody else. Right? Met a guy named Mark who I'd never met before. Got to meet New York Strip, Adam G, which was cool, and we're all just kind of talking, playing around. I got on the table for a little bit. And didn't shoot well that night. I think actually Larry might have been there too. I think Larry Magic Aces might have been at that table. And you know how it is, right? You're bullshitting, you're doing your thing. And I think Jen was there that night. Yeah, Jen was there. Anyway, didn't go well. But I really wasn't worried about it. It was a $15 table at Caesars. Bought it for $500. Just kind of dinking around. And I tried to do two things. One is I tried the Horseman, of course. I always try the Horseman. That's how I start everything off. But then I was doing the skill switch, right? 66 inside. My plan was $25 don't, 66 inside, take the hit, pull the $50 off the table, right? Profit 50, let the $25 sit there. Well, I could not get out of the gate. Like I burned from that $500, I think I burned, I want to say 350. And that skill switch never worked once. I lost my don't pass on the come out sevens. There's so many come out sevens this weekend. The don't pass was powerful after the point because everybody sucked for the most part. It was awful ahead of the point. We got clipped so many times on the don't pass. It was brutal. Then we get out there and I would get one hit, get a 5, great, press the 88 inside, 7 out. So I lose my come out, go 66 with the same don't pass, lose the whole 66 and basically tie, right? So you're at the end of that is you lose a come out, you win a don't. That's a tie, lose $66. That happened to me like 6 times, the whole table. Never got it to work. Dice come to me, I get it to work, right? I throw a number, or I get a point set, I throw 2 box numbers, I pull the $50 down, 7 out almost instantly. Everybody else loses money on my shot. Same thing, right? So that first night, I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed down a few $100. I was really tired, beat, off I go. Next morning we get up and I came down and did the coffee thing. I got Starbucks at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I played a little bit. I won about $100 or so waiting for folks to show up. And then we go down to the private table at the Trop. And we had a private table down at the Trop that Jeff and Evelyn had arranged for us. And Evelyn Yo Girl, by the way, was our host for the weekend. She did a great job of keeping us all kind of there. Oh, I forgot to talk about dinner. Geez, I forgot the most important part of the story. Oh, yeah. What a dumbass. I'm trying to recap. I'm trying to recap in chronological order, but before we played at Caesars, we went to dinner because I actually showed up. This is part of the funny story. When I was driving down from the airport, I was on Zoom calls for work. I was taking work calls the whole way down. So I'm in the parking lot for like 45 minutes, finishing my last call before I went into the casino. I had to run. We had to go right to dinner. So Jeff had arrangements for us at the Trop for dinner. So I get down to the Trop for dinner, and that's where I met everybody. Right, the whole crew is there. It's Evelyn. It's Rich. It's Degen and his girlfriend. And girlfriend Degen, by the way, also a real person. You always hear him call her girlfriend Degen. I got to meet her and hang out. Jeff, of course. Ted Midnight Train is there. And Jeff put this in Discord. I mean, he'll tell the story about dinner and how that all happened. But dinner was picked up, which was awesome. We ate at an Italian place. It was like family style. So like you order lasagna and they bring lasagna the size of your leg, that everybody can share. Dinner was fantastic at the Trop. We were a little late getting in there. They had a tough time getting us our table, but we got in. Met a subscriber named Mike, who was his birthday. He was super stoked to be there and hang out with us. I'm trying to think who else was there at the dinner, man. It was like everybody was there. Lily was there. I'm trying to think who else did I sit next to? Anyway, everybody was at the dinner. Then we went to the casino. That's where I lost the money. And I think I was just tired. I think it was like the flight, the ride, the work, the dinner, big Italian dinner. And then you're playing and you're like just kind of whatever, not into it. Went to bed down, but full belly, but down for the count. Morning, I won a little bit back, and then we go to the Trop. And on the way to the Trop is when I met Victor. So I'm walking down to the Trop to do the private table thing, and that's when Victor and I met on the boardwalk, and that was super cool. We get to the Trop, got the private table, and the way they had it set up was you basically put your player's card at the spot you wanted to play at. So everybody has their favorite spot all picked out. I'm down here by the right hook, or the left side hook, waiting for it to come in, and they come in. It's a $25 table. Which is fine. I bought in. I think I bought it for $1,000, and that table was cold as cold, like cold freaking cold. Like I couldn't believe. And this is a group of people that can shoot, right? This is like Ted, Midnight Train, who can shoot. This is Clay, East Coast Craps, who can shoot. It's Evelyn, Yo Girl, who can shoot. It's me. I think I can shoot. It was New York Strip, right? Adam G, who we know can shoot. Degen, we expect him to throw sevens and horns. It's fine. I love you, Chris, but you can't shoot. No, I'm kidding. Jen, right, can sometimes shoot. Everybody can shoot, right? It was literally 11 straight PSOs. And I'm not bullshitting. Like it was, I don't even think I got one. And again, at a $25 table, there's no 66 switch. It's 110 inside, right? You got to go 110, or you can go 6, 7, 8. The first 3 shooters I went 110 inside to try and get one hit and come down, just to get my bearings, right? $25 don't, 110 inside, 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. And it was like come out 11, set a point, 7 out. That was the table. 6 shooters in a row. I'm like, Jesus. Comes to me, I'm like, okay, let's get it done, and I get myself set up, and I have a come out horn number. I'm on the don't, come out horn number. I set a point of 5. So I'm up a little bit. And the dealer lady is like, shooting from the don't. And I'm like, dealer bets down. Like, it's just one of those things, right? I'm not going there. And then she finally said, he's going against the 5. And I'm like, I said, nothing against the 5. I love the 5. I'm just playing against it right now. Anyway, so I get like 4 rolls on that shot and 7 out. It was over before it even started. That whole table, we burned. And I'm telling you, no sound. You should have sound. I'm seeing my thing. I watched that table, and again, I'm not going to call people out. This is professional craps players, right? This is the Mac team. These are, like I said, it's Clay and Ted and Evelyn and Louie and Mac and me and DGen and Jen and Evelyn. Good players, good shooters, and here's what I'm watching. I'm watching 0.7 out, 0.7 out, 0.7 out, 1 hit, 0.7 out, 2 hits, 7 out, and then I'm seeing this. Back on the table. Back on the table. I'm watching people buy in over and over again. Some people bought in 3 times, right? And you know, we talk about this all the time. Never go to the ATM. Well, your pocket is an ATM too, right? If you jump into your pocket for more money on a shit table, you're gonna get bad results, right? And that table never heated up. It never heated up. It was a super hard surface, which you should like. It was a felt top, which none of us have really played on, except for Ian Olson, who's got a felt table in his house. The rest of us are playing microfiber, normal tables. That thing grabbed the corners. The dice weren't bouncing right. It was a disaster. It was an absolute unmitigated disaster. I just kept watching the money come out of the pockets, right? I switched to a full horseman and went dark. I went horseman. I went don't come, don't come, and played the 7, and I survived. My $1,000 went poof, right to 500, and I stayed at 500 for about 2 hours. I was kind of like, low volatility thing, thinking that somebody is going to make this happen. At some point, someone's got to have a shot, right? Never had a shot. Nobody on that table got more than 4 or 5 rolls. And I'm telling you, I just kept seeing the dollars go. I got down from 1,000 to about 425 or so, and I'm like, screw it, I'm done. And I got off the table. I just like, I can't do this anymore, you know. And I went and I sat down, and the sit down was great. I had this great conversation with Walter Weeks, Wawa, who was there. I had a great conversation with Larry, Magic Aces. We sat and talked for like probably 45 minutes. Larry showed me a magic trick. I could never do it, but he showed me how like some sleight of hand stuff works, and he was doing it. It was fantastic. I'm such a magic nerd. Watching him do this stuff, it was awesome. Yeah, we got to hang out with some people, and it was just, I got to talk a little bit there, which was really, really cool. And the table, like I said, the table continued to be ice cold. I got shushed, by the way. While I was talking to Larry, somebody who was way too serious said, hey, you guys got to keep it down over there. I'm like, you know what? It's fucking craps table. I'm talking, right? It's not that big a deal to have conversations, right? But I think folks were so like, what the hell's going on? They were so focused on winning that even the side conversation got distracting. But it doesn't take away from the fact that it was cool to be at a table with the gang, right? And meet everybody and get those chats in. So it was cool. But at the same time, man, that was a absolute disaster. I'm texting Jeff, where you at, bud? He's like, I'm over at the Golden Nugget, you know, so-and-so I'm playing with just hit the ATS. I'm like, oh, great. So that's where we're going. I go to Chris and Jen, like, what do you guys want to do? And Chris is like, let's go over there. So me and Chris and DGen, girlfriend DGen and Mark drive over to the Nugget. As we're driving to the Nugget, Jeff and his partner leave. So we missed them completely. We get to the Nugget and I'm like, the tables are full. I'm kind of crapped. I'm just kind of in a bad mood, right, from the other thing. So we went and played roulette. Me and Chris played roulette. So we played roulette, and I actually did what I did today. I did my strategy in roulette is ass simple. It's like first dozen, second dozen, $10. If you win, you rack. If you lose, you go to 15. You stay at 15 forever. You lose, you go to 20. Stay there forever. Made like $90 in a few minutes. That felt pretty good. Walked over, Mark was playing craps, and Mark had hit I think Mark was like one off the tall and the small as he was playing it. And then we looked at our clock and go, oh, it's like, you know, it's 5:30. We should probably head back. Dinner's at 8. We should probably get back and get a shower, right? We drive back to Caesars and see at the elevators, and off we go. And then DJ looks at his phone and goes, dinner's at 6. Like 10 minutes from now. We had totally screwed that up. And it was my fault. I think I had said to him, Jeff said dinner was at 8 or whatever. And I'm like helping coordinate all that and realized that we had made a huge ass mistake. Everybody comes back together. We go and we get to dinner and we go to the Trop for dinner, another Italian place. And I know Jeff, I think, didn't like the food there, or the waiter for them wasn't very good. Our waiter was great. They had this thing called, what was that thing I had? What was that drink called, Chris? The Italian Manhattan or something like that. It was like a Manhattan with amaretto in it. It was good. Had a couple of those, had some chicken parm, ate up a storm. And, then we're all full. And we're like, oh, what are we going to do? And we got to talking again. Let's go the Nugget and play. All right, off we go. We didn't want to play. Nobody wanted to play at the Trop. We had such a bad experience earlier. We're like, not going to the Trop. We're going to the Nugget, right? Off we go to the Nugget. And we get in there. And then that table starts out the same. Like we walk up to this table and there's a guy on the end who's shooting. And we all waited for him to finish his roll. And then 10 of us bought in at once. And the dealers there were not the best. They were okay, but they felt like rookies, but they talked like they were vets. You know what I'm saying? Like they had this way about them. But anyway, that table goes 0.7 up, 0.7 up, 0.7 up. Comes to me, and I'm like, I think I rolled 6 that time, right? It was my best roll of the weekend, 6 freaking rolls, right? I'm like, fuck, done. Person next to me goes, and I'm like, and literally, buying for $500. I'm down to I think it was down to 175 at that point. And for the weekend now, I'm down about 900 between the night before, the torpedo table in the morning, my morning session, and now where we just got to on this table. I might have bought it for 700. Anyway, I was down to $145. And I'm looking at my watch or my wallet. I'm going, oh my God, I'm down 950 right now. And I haven't even blinked yet, right? I have had 2 meals. I'm down 950. What the hell's going on? So here I go again, right? Next shooter comes up and I'm like, oh, fuck it, 66 inside, right? Let's just let it go. We'll see what happens. I might have even done a don't pass. I think I did don't pass 66 inside. And he comes out, takes my don't pass. I'm like, cool. What else would happen, right? What else could happen? And then he goes on a absolute hour-and-a-half heater. From that point forward, he goes on and on and on. And I want to talk about that roll a little bit because it was the woulda, coulda, shoulda roll for me. In the end, I will tell you what I ended up with on the end of that roll, but I started it with $66. And I did the least I could do, which was press it up once and then get to 88 and he hits an inside number. I'm like, oh my God, I won $50. It's the first $50 I've pulled off any table since I've been here. I swear. I pulled the $50 back to my rack. I'm like, hey, same bet, 66 inside. Inside number, press it up. I'm like, okay, I got $50 again. What do I do? And here, and again, in chat, what do you do at this point, right? You're like, you've been getting your ass kicked all this time. He's got 4 hits, which is a miracle in and of itself. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to stay inside at 88. He's hitting inside numbers. I'm staying inside. My choice was stay inside or grab the 4 and 10 for 15 each and work the across. I stayed inside because he was throwing all the numbers he threw were inside numbers. He threw 6 of them, right? I think he set a point and he hit a number, hit the point, set a point, hit the point, hit another, right? I'm like, okay, cool. We're inside. Well, doesn't he go on to hit 11 4s and 10s for the next hour and a half, right? Eventually we got on it, right? But I'm watching that roll go by and I'm on the inside, and I'm working the Philly special on the inside. I'm doing the 6 and 8. I started, by the way, I'm lying. Let me go back a step. I went to this Philly special. I started doing tier pressure, right? Which was, full press, full press, full press, even up, full press, full press, full press, even up. So I went from 66 to 220, full press, full press, full press to 330. And the girl it looked at me like I had like bugs crawling out of my eyes or something. She didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. Like seriously, I'm like full press to 6, full press to 9, full press to 5, next hit, make me look like 220 inside. Huh? And it took her forever to get the bet set. I'm literally killing the Philly special. Not the tier pressure. It's a great strategy. It wins a lot of money. Dealers cannot handle regressing bets. When they're all different amounts like that, when the 6 is at 120 and the 5 is at 40 and the 9 was at, I think, 85, whatever it was, and to go back to 220, she almost had an aneurysm trying to get that bet down. I couldn't believe how hard it was for her to do that. Screw it. So I reset my bets, right, to the 220 inside. And I said, from now on, I'm just going to do Philly special just to keep it easy, right? So Philly special is easy, right? 6 and 8 go up a little bit at a time, 5 and 9 G money up. And it was great. We hit the 5 and 9 G money The 5 hit 3 times. I went from 15 to 25, 25 to 40, right? So 40 goes to 100, wins the 200, right? Then I went to 80 to 200 and won the 400, right? So that the 5 did it twice for me, on the big side, the 9 did it once. And it was great to do that. I still hadn't had the 4 and 10 note, and he was hitting 4s and 10s. I still wasn't on him. I'm working that inside hard. And I got to a point where I'm like, okay, cool. I looked at where I was, and on the felt I had enough to bring back, so I'd have a $500 profit, right? So I looked at my felt, I looked at my rack, I'm like, cool. If I regress right now back to 220 inside, I'm gonna have my $500 back plus a lock of $500. Boom, 220 inside. Did that once, and then on the very next hit, I grabbed the 4 and 10 for me and for the shooter, because he wasn't on it either. We were talking the whole time. I'm like, dude, you keep hitting these 4s and 10s. Neither of us are on it. He's like, I don't care. And I'm like, yeah, I just stay in the zone. And so I went and bought him the 4 and the 10, and then he managed his own bets from there. But at least I got him on those, and I think he won $300 off the 4s and 10s as he was rolling them. I was more aggressive on those, and I hit those pretty well too. It was interesting because had I gone 35 on the 4 and 10 way back in the roll, like I probably should have, when that first decision to go 110 inside instead of spreading out, I would have been able to flip the 4 and 10 each twice. He did flip them each twice, and I was not on them until the last 6 rolls. So I didn't get a full flip on those things. I got some presses, but I didn't get a full flip. Had I done that, that's the woulda, coulda, shoulda part. I should have done the 4s and 10s, but I was a little gun shy. Right, I wanted to get the money out of the inside. I was so far down that even after pulling back that one regress, I was still down $500 for the weekend. Right, even with that, I was still, God, what am I going to do here? So it plays out, and I do Philly special on all the bets. Right, we get the 6 and 8 hammered up. I get the 5 and 9. I hit the G money again on one of them. 4 and 10, I had up to 100 each, and the whole time, I'm looking at the and literally every time he shot, we would step back. I was actually a stick left 1. He was a stick left 2. But when you're playing as a team, it doesn't matter, right? We both go up to the table, we'd make our bets, and then I would step way back, like 3 feet off the table. He would slide into where I was standing. He'd take a shot. He'd step back. We would talk a little bit. We'd come back, make our bets. And we talked after every single roll. We literally talked almost every roll. It was great. We were like, I feel like I was his counselor Troy or something. Like every roll we were just talking, and it was like, he's like, oh man, I'm gonna, I'm seeing that. I'm like, yeah, it's a good roll. And he's like, that one kind of slipped. And he's like, I'm gonna make this little change. I'm like, hey, just do what you're doing, and we're just kind of bullshitting, telling jokes. Like it was like super comfortable to just bullshit between the rolls. And I think that helped him calm. Like he was like just having fun. He's like, this is a great roll. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about how great a roll it is. Let it be. Just, and we were just literally shooting the breeze the whole time. It was awesome. Jeff had a problem with the dealers. I'm sure Jeff will tell you the story. The dealers and Jeff weren't having the greatest of times. They were like, they get a little salty, right? At one point, I remember looking down the table and Chris is flipping out. Chris DGen is flipping out down there. He's got the 4 and 10, banked up. Ted had the 4. I think Ted might have flipped the 4. He pulled $700 off one shot. Chris is freaking out. He's got the 4 going. He's making a ton of money. Chris, that side of the table where Chris and Evelyn and Jen were, made so much money that I think Jeff will have a picture for you. There's a picture where there's no chips left on the dealer side of the rack. It's all you see is like circle-shaped dust bunnies back there. The whole chip rail is basically empty. It's all dust bunnies. At one point, we had gotten to, and I think he's probably about an hour and 15 minutes into the roll, right? Chris had to take a leak. I had to take a leak. The shooter had to take a leak. We're all just like hopping around going, oh my God, I got to pee, but I'm not leaving this table, A, and B, I don't want to jinx anybody, right? We wait, and here comes security with new chips to fill the rack. And he's like, the shooter's like, are you guys doing a chip change? I'm like, yeah, we got to fill the rack. He's like, I'm out of here. Everybody runs. Like Jen, full sprint to the bathroom. Like Jen, all you saw was Jen's rear end and a cloud of dust. She was gone. Shooter goes into the other bathroom. DJ's looking for one, and I'm sitting there going, everybody's in the bathroom. I'm not going to go. I'm like, if I pee, I'm going to take the mojo away from this table. So I literally, the most superstitious thing I ever did in my life was hold a pee for an extra 45 minutes, right? Well, he comes back, and while he's gone, I'm doing the math. I'm looking at that table, and I'm going, okay, now, with what I had out there, I think I had gotten up to, I forget what it was now. I want to say like 940 on the felt. And I looked at the felt, I looked at my rack, and I went, if I pull down right now, I'm actually up for the weekend. I made all the money back that I lost, plus nice freaking profit. And it was the hardest call I made, right? And I'm looking at that going, the smart thing to do here is to get out of this, right? And I want you in chat to tell me what you would have done, right? The smart thing to do here is to get the fuck out of this hand, because he's going off. We're in the middle of a break. I know that right now I am not only even, but I've got a huge profit, right, on the weekend if I get off this table at this moment. If we come back and go south on me and I lose what's on the felt, I'm going to be below. I'm going to be still at a little bit of a loss, right? Made the decision, and Jeff did the same thing. Jeff next to me, we both were like, take me down to 160 across, right? Boom. Pull that profit off the rack. I'm at 160 across. Shooter comes back from the P. I don't remember how long you shot. I want to say it was another 10 rolls after the P. Something like that. I think it was about 10 rolls. I could be wrong about that. I should have wrote it down. But the 160 turned into another, I think I went from 160. I got the bets mostly up and I pulled another $300 or so off the table. That's the woulda, coulda, shoulda also, right? Had I stayed out there with the 900, those 4 or 5 hits would have been $900 or so in the rack. I would have lost what's out there, but I would have pulled back about the same amount that I pulled back anyway. I probably would have been about the same, but I would have had more opportunity. As it was, being gun shy, I think I went into that roll soft. I played it really soft early. I did that one regression early on, which puts you behind the roll, but I had to lock that $500. I had to lock up that profit. Otherwise I would have gone crazy. At the very end, I pulled back a second time. There's 2 regressions in that roll. That's probably a $10,000 roll. If I'm just playing it like I should have played it, 66 to 88 to the 4 and 10, and then Philly special it from there, that's probably a $10,000 roll. Okay. As it was, I took 2661 off the table. That was my exact out. 2661 was my number, which put me about $1,700 up for the weekend. I felt like that was the right choice. The right choice to make was to get out when I did, pull down when I did, because again, I was so far behind. We were so hammered from before that getting out of that thing when I did was the right move at the time. However, there's probably a $6,000 to $7,000 potential loss, not loss, but opportunity cost to me by not just going like I should have gone. If I was not $900 down and the table was not as cold as it was, I wouldn't have done what I did. I would have Philly specialed that thing to the ceiling, and with those regular collects, I would have probably been at about 5 or 6, maybe 7,000. As it was, I'm all good. I'm very happy with how it turned out. What I did do was 2 regressions. I think it was the smartest move I could make given the bankroll that I was down to when the roll started and for the weekend. So I think it was the right play. All that said, hella fun. And it was like literally, you talk about bringing enough money for 10 shooters. Jeff, you're in chat. You played all the tables with me. We probably lost, and D-Gen too, and Jen, I will bet you, if we went back and logged it, there was probably 25 straight shooters that we didn't make money on. 25 straight shooters that probably took our money. Or had less than 2 or 3 box sets in a roll, right? 10 wasn't enough to have enough bankroll for 10. We had to last 20 before it got to that roll. Now that roll did save the weekend for me. There was other rolls after that Jeff will tell you about it, right? But we got pounded, and you're like right side craps. Greg always says it is right side craps is broken because you do this. You 66, 110, and you're like, God, is it ever going to pick up? You know, and finally it gets picked up. You get the hottie. But man, you pay the price to get to that hot roll. When it comes, I always say it, if you're not there, you're right. We were there. We were there for it. We got it. We made money on it. Thank God it got me back to health, and we're cool. Okay. All that said, all that losing, the super hot roll. At the end of the day, if I would have played paycheck style the whole time, I still would have made the same profit. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's like the ending profit's not what it's about. It's the people. right? It's getting to meet Gypsy. I see Gypsy here in chat, right? Gypsy, by the way, kick-ass chip. Thank you for the chip. It was great. We went to that's right. I forgot about the hospitality room. We went there that night. We went back to the house. So Joe, Mr. Pressett, had a hospitality room. He had gotten a suite. We all went in there and hung out. All the wives and girlfriends and all of us were sitting there bullshitting for a couple hours. It was really cool to that was one of the highlights of the night, was sitting in that room, drinking whiskey and just BSing with everybody and hanging out. That was super cool. That was such a great camaraderie. Again, super fun. The people is what it's about. Being over there with Jeff and the crew, and again, hanging out with Clay and Ted and all the guys, and Louie, just, that's what it's like. This community that we built, I think that's what it's about. It's spending $1,000 to fly to the East Coast for a day and a half. Literally flew in Thursday night, ate and played all day Friday, went to bed Friday night, left Saturday early morning, like about noon. Right? Just like this really quick kind of meeting everybody. It was awesome. Freaking awesome, right? And yeah, Scott was there. It was super cool, right? And that's the whole point. Jeff and I have worked really hard. Chris has worked really hard. Greg has worked hard. Ed. We're working hard on these channels and we're making all these friends. Chiro's another, I wish you could have been there, buddy. Making room for everybody to come and play and hang out. Man, it's just cool. I enjoyed that as much or more than the craps. You know me, I love craps, but I like my friends and I like making new friends and having the people. It was really, really cool. Some other takeaways that I've got for this. Know your why. Right, know your why. Why are you there? Know your people's why and why they are there. This was a thing that I think is interesting. Okay, I went there to hang out and have fun. I literally, like I said, I dropped $700 to fly across the country, get the room. Evelyn got the room for me through the casino hosting thing. We ate dinner and all that, right? It's all about going and hanging out. To me, I just wanted to hang with Jeff and get a chance to get some one-on-one time with Jeff, talk to D-Gen, see Jen again, meet some of the team. I met Louie last time, but only for a few minutes. Ted and Clay and I had met the first time I was out there, but again, for a short period of time. This time I was hoping to get some longer sessions with everybody, and we kind of did, but I was there for that, right? They were there like serious time. Like I felt like Ted and Clay and somebody else's name I can't say. These guys were there to play. They were there to hammer it, right? They felt like it was team time, right? Like it was team play. And I maybe there was a meeting that I'd missed the day before, and they were like, "Oh, people aren't sticking to the plan," right? And I got this vibe like, "Ooh, wait a minute, are we doing something different here? Are we not just hanging out and having fun? We're like, is this a collective? Are we cohesive? Like, what is going on here, right?" Like, and I've talked to you all about team play before, right? We've had this conversation about team play, and there's two ways to have a craps team. Okay, one way, we combine our money. We've all got skin in the game, and we're assigned a role. You're playing the cum, you're playing the Philly special, you're playing the dolly, you're playing the molly, you're doing X, whatever. And as a group, we collectively put the money in, we each manage our rack and our bet thing in our way for X amount of time. At the end, pooled the money, split it up, and we've worked the system, right? With a shared bankroll, common goal, different predetermined ways to play. That's a way to do team play. Another way to do quote unquote team play is we agree where we're all going to stand. We agree to all, everybody's got their own money and doing their own thing, but you're playing to a vibe, I guess, right? That's what I wasn't ready for. That's where I got shushed the one time because you're talking too much. I don't know who likes to have it quiet. I don't know. The people, right? You got to know who's there, what they do, and where they like to be. I didn't know if I'm in somebody's spot. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their thing. When you're kind of injected into the middle of a group like that, you got to find your own way. And I felt out of place at the private table. Didn't matter because the table was so shitty anyway. But when you're not on the team, right? Your role is different. You know what I mean? It was like they're doing their thing, I'm doing my thing. It's kind of how that sort of felt for the most part, which is fine. We just got to know. We just got to know what's happening there. And again, think about team play on those two ways. I know there are traveling teams that do this kind of thing, but the shared bankroll versus the personal bankroll is a discussion we should have at some point, right? We should go back to team play discussions again. Do you want to do a shared bankroll team thing, or do you want to do teams where it's just we all agree to shut up and we all agree to be at the right spots and we all agree to kind of keep the focus? Because that's team play, but not, right? That's just kind of a collective play. So think about that as you go. That was the only weird vibe that I got, and I got that vibe twice. That it was like, hey, you go over there and we're gonna go do our thing over here. That was a weird little note thing that I noted, I guess, right? Not that you weren't felt welcome, but there was definitely here's the team, and here's a couple folks that are kind of just jumping into that mix. Just consider that as far as a topic for us to get back to later on is more combined bankroll team play. That's going to lead us down the road here at some point on our shows about ways to play. So there's one of the take-ups. I want to make sure I don't forget this, which is to say thank you to Jeff for two things. Thank you to Jeff for A, putting the Come Play With Us contest together. B, thank you, Jeff, for rigging the contest so that I would win. And everybody needs to know Jeff totally rigged that thing so that I would be there, which I appreciate, Jeff. I think it's fantastic that you did that for me. I'm glad to come out there and hang out and play with you guys. No, but in all honesty, Jeff put in a ton of work. You guys have no idea. So Jeremy last year put on DiceCon. It's going again this year in June. And I was a part of helping Jeremy organize that last year. I was not a part of helping Jeff organize this year. But I know what goes into it. Like for Jeremy to get Casino Quest rented out and all the logistics of here's the tour, we're going to this place and that place and this table's private. And Jeff did all that work along with Evelyn. You have no concept of how hard it is to get the venue scheduled, to get dinners booked, to get tables put together, to get everybody on the text message string to be at the right place at the same time. Holy crap. That man worked his ever-loving ass off. I think Jeff might have lost 20 pounds in stress sweat, and I think he might have lost an inch just pacing, trying to get shit done. He compressed his vertebrae by pacing so much because it was so much work. It was unbelievable, the work that he put in. So I know y'all think Jeff's a cool guy because he's funny on his show, and he's got, great dice calls and all that stuff. There's a lot more to it than that, right? There's a lot more depth to what Jeff is about and how this weekend went and what he put into it. It was freaking awesome. It was absolutely great. Ian says we need to do it up here. I'll tell you what, my next slide is exactly that. Anybody interested in coming to Seattle with us for a PNW meetup? I was talking to Jeremy at Color Up last week before last, and I'm on the management team over there at Color Up. We were talking about doing regional meetups, right? Because I know that we were going to Jeff's thing. And Jeremy's like, well, we're doing DiceCon, which is like the big, everybody comes to Vegas once a year kind of a thing. Why not do, a Pacific Northwest one and a Texas one and a whatever one, or a Chicago one. If any club members want to host a meetup, Jeremy will come, right? We can get some members out here. So I think we should do one here in Seattle. You guys want to come out to Seattle and hang out with me and Ian? Come on out and do it. I know there's some of you who live out this way. I'll tell you what, Seattle in August, September is paradise. Like it's 80, 85, it's sunny, there's zero humidity, the mountains are out, you can see the snow. Our casinos have $5 tables and $10 tables only. You're not gonna be faced with a $25 table. Come out and play. If you wanna do it, let's start figuring it out. I got two things to figure out. One is gonna be the final dates for the Craps for the Cure. It's gonna be November-ish. If you want to do this, we'll do a little weekend meetup here in Seattle over the summer, late summer, like August, September-ish. So if you want to do that, come on out. Yeah, Ian, this is God's country. When you see Seattle, we get a lot of heat out here, and well-deserved for the political mess that we've caused and all the crap you see on TV. And that's fine. That's part of the thing. This is a wonderful place. Seattle, from a scenic standpoint, from a weather standpoint, from a people standpoint, it is God's country. It's fantastic out here. So let's do it. You guys want to do this? Come out here to Seattle. Come play with us next time, and we'll get something like that. We have a couple of casinos within driving distance of each other. Let's do it, man. We should actually get down there and go down to go to Snoqualmie. Snoqualmie Casino is like a casino on a set of like mountain falls. Like you're like literally watching the waterfall while it's stupidly cool. Yeah, and so Victor would vote for Biloxi. Certainly, Ed's doing a thing soon. Jeremy is like, yeah, let's do it. Let's put color up branded meetups everywhere. And like I said, he'll come out. We'll do our thing. Let's do it. That's going to be I don't know. I just literally we'll think about how to do it coming up. All right. Now I want to give you a preview. I'm gonna give you a little preview of what's coming up on the show this week. So this week we're gonna transition now. We've been talking all this time about your personality and your play style. We're gonna get into thinkers this week. We're gonna talk about probability players, mathematical players, hybrid players. Basically, it's gonna be dialing from skill and luck week. We're gonna talk about playing that way. And I wanna really get into that because this came into my mind all weekend down in Atlantic City, which was, I'm trying to play a certain way and it ain't working, right? And what could I have done differently in the table versus going in and getting thumped every single time, or dark, thump, versus doing some hedging, hybriding, moving things around play. So we're going to talk about thinkers and see how we can merge some of the thinking plays into our world this week, okay? But again, I want to go back a couple screens here because I think this is important. And we'll go back to the role. Okay, back to the role. Mindset is an important thing. And I think whether you're a conservative player, an aggressive player, a thinking type player, you're a math only player, or you're a bankroll guy like Waylon, right? Your mindset's going to set the tone, and it's going to set you up for success or failure as you go. That's an important thing. Remembering who you're playing with, what their goals are, what your team's goals are, if you're with a team, if you're with friends. Are you there to hang out and have fun? I thought I was there to hang out and have fun. It turned into be a little more serious than that, right? Which is cool. I can switch to serious. Does the shooter next to you need to be talked to, right? Because they want to unload a little bit between shots because it's 5 minutes between shots with the slowness of that crew? Or does the shooter want to be left alone? Like, being in the moment, being in the vibe, being in your head, playing in the way that fits your bankroll, right? I played an aggressive style, but I regressed twice because my bankroll made me do it. That's that. Remember we talked about, like, does your bankroll support your play style? My bankroll did not support the play style I was on, which is why I regressed twice. So be in your own head, guys. Get it together. Yeah, I think that's all I got. I don't know what else is there. We have a few minutes left for questions. Let me go to questions. Let's see. Put the glass on here. My favorite number, so that's the easy one, Mo. There's a corner there where it's the 8, 9, 11, and 12. That's my corner because my birthday is 9/12. My wife's birthday is 11/12. My son's birthday is 10/9. Like they're all right there. Like that's my corner. What I don't get in that is my daughter, who's 6/22. But I love that corner because we get the 9, the 12, the 11, and the 10. It's all right there in the same area. That's what I play if I'm playing straight up. If I'm going to play one thing straight up, it's always going to be the 9. Sometimes I play the 12, but really it's the 9. The nine's the one. Just because I'm a September birthday, I guess, right? How easy is it to get from the peninsula from Seattle? It's easy. It's a drive. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive, depending on which road you take. You go down through south to Olympia and kind of cut over to the peninsula. It's about an hour and a half to Olympia and about 45 minutes drive out to the peninsula. It's cool. Dan, if you go out, it's a worthwhile drive because you're going through all the mountains, right? Heading towards the snow-capped mountains and you get to the beach. It's awesome. That's a well worth it couple hours drive for sure. If you really want to do it, take the 5-hour drive to Oregon and go all the way down Washington to the Oregon coast and then cut over into Oregon and cut over to the coast. That's almost an even better drive because you go through wine country down there and the Oregon coast is fantastic. It's just, yeah, it's pretty awesome. How about some PCs? Any other questions you guys have? What other questions y'all have? Hard surface tables you know what the problem is, Anima? The hard surface table was good. It was the surface. It was the felt. Like the felt had like those little, like the hairs on it, right? Like they was grabbing the dice. So the guys who normally can throw a certain way, the dice were grabbing and kicking them off and they couldn't get any control. That's what happened on that table. It was really interesting. Adam G, like I told you, the big roll happened. And because the 2 days getting punched in the face, we didn't take it for 40. We should, right? 100%, man. That is like, we want to be aggressive. You want to be boom, but everybody got beat up so bad. You're like, I guess got to protect myself here, right? I literally went into that roll, $66, and I was happy with the 50 that I won in the first couple of rolls. I was literally stoked that I pulled $50 off that table, and I slow rolled that thing. I did not go in heavy, right? But that's what you got to do. You got to play it that way when you're so beat down and your bankroll is like, God, you're just crushed. I just want to get off. I want to get my money off that table. So yeah, the Monster Roll Duracell, we don't know. It was an hour and 35 minutes, I think, roughly. I want to say it was 45 to 50 rolls. It was at least 45 to 50 rolls, and it was all good ones. There was not a ton of horn numbers except for the come outs. Like I said, the 11 and 4, or the 11 and 4, the 10 and 4 were super hot. We weren't on those things till late. It was great. It was probably 50. Yeah, it was probably about 50. It was definitely mid 40s. You know, the thing is, the longer the roll got, the worse the dealers got, because the bets were so up there, right? And you know, I don't know why it was so difficult to do it, but I'm literally like, you know, 5's at $40. Okay, I drop $4 and I go make it look like 100. And she stacks up the $4. She pays the 56, put the 4 on top of the 56, puts the whole thing on top of the 5, and then takes everybody else's bets. And the box person goes, "What do you have over there on the 5?" She goes, "I don't know." Takes it down, counts it all out, puts a black chip on it. Like, that's what was happening every single time. When I went and I won the 140 and I said, "Now make it look like 80." She could not figure that out. So I said, "Give me the money." I dropped her $40 and said, "Make it look like 80." So I took the 2 blacks and gave her the 40 to make her put the bet on there. Otherwise, it was taking 5 minutes between rolls. And the shooter and I were talking for 5 minutes. It was like, you know, we were almost telling stories about it, like looking at our cameras, showing our kids pictures to each other. It was taking so long sometimes. But I think it was good. I think he and I had a couple good conversations between the rolls, and just kind of kept it chill, and it was good. Like I said, if I did any part to counsel and help keep that person calm during that period, it was pretty cool. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was yeah. I think we probably hit the fire bet if there was one. This was a no ATS table, no fire bet table. I forgot to say that, by the way. The thing with this one was no fire, no ATS. We all would have been on that, of course, right? I made $2,600 without an ATS. Like old school, let's play craps, press your bets, roll some numbers craps. It was great. Oh God, yeah, Mid-Atlantic Craps. The dealer bets, right? We had, between all of us, dealers inside, we're pressed, and we're doing press. The dealers had bets $42 and $60 on the 6 and 8. The dealers were take one, press one, take one, press one, take one, press one. They were up, I think at one point, $42 or $60 on the 6 and 8 in the inside. I'd had them on the 10 at one point up to a quarter on the 10. When I bet the 10 for me and the shooter, I put the dealers on there as well, and we had pressed them up to a quarter on the 10s. They made a ton of money, and they still gave us attitude. They still gave attitude on some of the bets. It was insane. Yeah. Oh, Lou had a 58 yesterday? No shit. Well, where was I? I was on the airplane. By the way, I had the worst flight home. You guys I'm leaving you with this. It's 9:00. All that said, right, I made a bunch of money. We had a good time. I missed Lou's big roll, of course. The flight home, oh my God, it was so bad. There was a thunderstorm in Philadelphia. We were on the runway for an hour and a half waiting for the plane to take off, fighting the winds the whole way from there to Seattle. It was a 7-hour flight. It was turbulent the whole time. No service. They had the flight attendants in their jump seats the entire flight. They weren't allowed up. That's how bad the flight was. So it was an extra hour, and it was like, it was awful. I'm sorry I missed your roll, man. I'm looking at the chat going, damn it, dude. I'm sorry I missed the roll from Louis. That would have been great. Louis is a great shooter, by the way. Louis is a great shooter. All right, I'm out of here. It's 9:00, time for DGen to go live with the sports bet. I think Chris is talking about units today, right? That's the thing. So you're doing units today. Don't miss that show. If you're a sports bettor at all, units are where it's at. Catch Dice DGen live on Daily Wager coming up next here on Casino Gaming TV. With that said, folks, I am out. I'll see you tomorrow morning for a regular daily paycheck, and we're going to get in here and talk about some thinking style of craps play. In the meantime, have a good day. God bless y'all. Love every one of you. I'll see you later. Bye.